You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere. This is your WISS Daily News Roundup for Oshkosh Air Support, 98.3 FM and 1100 AM.
For 98.3 and 96.5 WISS News, I'm Lisa Hale. 21-year-old James Vanderleest and his father, 48-year-old David Vanderleest, made their initial court appearances Monday in connection with the death of 2-year-old Leo Escalante in Green Bay. Officers were called to a home in Alpine Drive in Green Bay for a boy with life-threatening injuries on June 22nd. The boy died 2 days later. The Vanderleests were arrested at a cabin in Florence County on Friday. James Vanderleest is the ex-boyfriend of the child's mother. He has multiple open criminal cases, including 3 with domestic abuse enhancers. The recommended charge against James Vanderleest in this case is first-degree reckless homicide. The recommended charge against David Vanderleest is harboring or aiding a felon. However, prosecutors say more charges may be coming. A $2 million cash bond is set for James, and David is being held on a $100,000 cash bond. Fair Share America is traveling the country in the Stop the Billionaire Giveaway bus tour, rallying against the budget bill running through the U.S. Congress right now. The tour stopped in Oshkosh Monday. Kristen Crowell is the executive director of Fair Share America, and she called out Senator Ron Johnson for wanting to cut Medicaid and SNAP benefits.
In the last several hours, Senator Johnson has offered an amendment that would cut Medicaid even deeper by $330 billion more dollars.
Shame on shame.
That brings the total people that are facing losing health care in this country up to 20 million American people.
The bus tour is continuing through July 14th as it heads towards the West Coast. In addition to the Oshkosh stop, the tour also stopped in Racine on Monday. Today, it visits La Crosse. Safe, sane, sober. 3 words to keep in mind when using fireworks at home. Most fire departments will recommend leaving the fireworks to the professionals, but with Independence Day celebrations, there are bound to be some people using fireworks at home. Green Bay Metro Fire Captain Nick Craig said fireworks cause thousands of children to end up in the emergency room every year.
The biggest thing is the amount of injuries. We're looking at over 10,000 injuries caused by consumer fireworks every year. And the ones that are legal for consumers to buy are actually causing the majority of those injuries.
Sparklers are prime examples of that.
They burn at over 1,200 degrees. That's super hot. Obviously, the end of the metal rod on the sparkler is red hot when it's done burning. Sparklers account for 29% of fireworks injuries for children under the age of 5.
For fireworks safety tips, see the story on our website. All eyes are on the Capitol today as the Joint Finance Committee takes up some of the biggest things in the state budget. That includes the program keeping child care providers open. Savannah Tomei Olson has that story.
Childcare Counts is extra funding sent directly to childcare providers that began during the pandemic, and today it's expired. Providers are now operating without government funding they've gotten for years. A study from the Institute for Research on Poverty shows almost 900 childcare centers across Wisconsin could close without that funding. Ruth Schmidt is the executive director for the Wisconsin Early Childhood Association.
We are hearing lots of programs that are closing. We are hearing programs that have already been sharing with families that they're going to be increasing their rates by up to 25% a month.
Speaker Robin Voss has said he does not support giving child care providers funding. Instead, he wants to give payments directly to families. Meanwhile, Governor Tony Evers has said child care counts is a deal breaker. He said he won't sign a budget without it. Now, after negotiations have gone on this long, Schmidt is hoping child care funding is in the budget in some form.
If that's not done, our state will pay in all sorts of additional ways down the road. We will pay in terms of a need to pay for remedial education to help kids catch up. We will pay for a lack of social emotional skills and brain cell development that happens in early learning programs that kids cannot compensate for later on.
Until today, Wisconsin paid about $10 million a month to childcare providers across the state. I'm Savannah Tomei-Olson, Civic Media News.
Blood donations tend to dip as we get closer to the 4th of July. Combine that with the Atlantic hurricane season that began this month. Disasters like hurricanes and severe summer weather can disrupt blood drives for several days and impact the momentum of a growing blood supply. Help the American Red Cross plan for the unexpected by making an appointment to give blood or platelets. The 39th annual Super Donor Days blood drive at the Tundra Lodge Resort in Green Bay is scheduled for July 2nd and 3rd. So while you may be out engaging in outdoor adventures this month, the Red Cross is asking you to make an appointment to donate. Visit redcrossblood.org or use the Red Cross Blood Donor app. The Wisconsin Supreme Court has ruled that UW Health is not legally required to collectively bargain with its nurses union in a unanimous decision last week. The court's ruling was based on Act 10, the 2011 law passed by former Republican Governor Scott Walker that essentially ended collective bargaining for public employees like nurses and teachers in the state. Representatives from the nurses union said while they're disappointed in the decision, they will continue to explore other pathways to restore their collective bargaining rights, including new legislation. Freshen up your landscaping or gardening project with cranberry leaf compost. Civic Media's Brittany Merlot has more.
You can use it as ground cover in vegetable gardens and flower beds, and it can be used alone or mixed 50-50 with topsoil. The compost is pH neutral, weed C-free, and made from cranberry leaves on a family farm in Manitowish waters. You can call to schedule a pickup or delivery. It's $20 per yard with a 10-yard minimum. Visit manitowishcranberry.com/compost for more information.
I'm Lisa Hale for 98.3 and 96.5 WISS News. For news anytime, visit WISS.FM.
The Bucks are losing Lopez. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. NBA free agency. After 7 seasons, including 1 NBA championship, Brook Lopez is leaving the Milwaukee Bucks. The 37-year-old center has agreed to a 2-year contract with the Los Angeles Clippers worth $18 million. While with the Bucks, Lopez improved his three-point shooting and leads with the most block shots in franchise history, second only to Giannis Antetokounmpo. 3 other players returning to the Bucks. Shooting guard Gary Trent Jr. agreeing to a 2-year deal worth $7.5 million, which doubles what he made last season in Milwaukee. Guard Kevin Porter Jr. agreeing to a 2-year deal worth $10.5 million, and forward Taurean Prince also signing a 2-year deal with the Bucks worth $7.1 million. All 3 having next year as a player option. Baseball, the Brewers opening a 3-game series tonight against the Mets in New York. Freddie Peralta on the mound against the Mets' Clay Holmes. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Apple Films' F1 is definitely a hit, but will it be a financial success? Sounds like a strange question, but prognosticators are curious. The film opened number 1 with a $57 million domestic haul and has brought in $145 million worldwide. The Brad Pitt-Jerry Bruckheimer effort received excellent reviews, but still landed a little short of expectations. How to Train Your Dragon came in second place with just under $20 million and a less than 50% drop-off in week 3, giving it a domestic total of just over $200 million. Disney Pixar's Elio, although a bit of a disappointment, still came in third place with just over $10 million at the gate. Megan 2.0 underperformed as well, earning much less than the first chapter of the film, coming in at about $10 million domestically. Rounding out the top 5 was 28 Years Later, which came in just under $10 million in its second week of release. Fasten your seatbelts though, moviegoers. A dinosaur invasion is happening tomorrow. During a recent appearance at Fuel Fest, Vin Diesel said he recently spoke with a Universal executive who asked him if they could do another Fast and Furious film, to which the actor said yes, but on 3 conditions. The conditions were to return the filming to production-starved LA, embrace the purity of street racing once again, and to have his buddy Paul Walker make an appearance in the film. Walker passed away in 2013 after a high-speed car crash at just 40 years old. Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's $50 million wedding was the talk of the weekend, but the talk wasn't all good. Charlize Theron spoke during her 5th annual African Outreach Project in LA and said to the crowd, "I think we might be the only people not invited to the most talked about wedding," at which point the Mad Max Fury Road star said that's okay because they suck and we're cool. Two very different events, but a lot less collagen and steroids at Theron's event. It appears that Tom Cruise has saved his best stunts for last, or at least the last installment of what is supposed to be the Mission Impossible series finale, The Final Reckoning. Even though he broke his foot while shooting Mission Impossible Fallout, according to the Risky Business star, holding onto the wings of an airplane and flying around and dodging missiles underwater weren't even the most harrowing stunts from The Final Reckoning. The most punishment Cruise put his body through during filming was the burning parachute scene. If you haven't seen the film, yes, Cruise fell 6,000 feet with a parachute that was on fire and actually did the stunt for real. As usual, Cruise says every time he hit the ground, it was like a crash landing. Stunt coordinator Wade Eastwood says Cruise was so obsessed with getting the shot right, he actually hid the last burning parachute so they could not do the stunt again because he was worried about the actor's well-being, unlike the actual actor. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
It is going to be mostly sunny and pleasant today. We'll get to around 83 for a high this afternoon with wind out of the northwest to west at 5 to 15. Clear tonight, 65. Tomorrow, sunny with a late day shower or thunderstorm and a high tomorrow near 86. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Temperature now 67.
That's your WISS Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at WISS.FM. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.